Hi guys, it's Ms. Levy and welcome to the Chapter 6 Ch6 review of where religions are distributed. So let's start today with first distinguishing the difference between universalizing and ethnic religions. So universalizing religions, we know that they attempt to be global. They attempt to appeal to all people. They tend to be, the followers tend to be heterogeneous, so from a variety of different groups. Both races and culture groups, not just to those of one culture or location. Universalizing religions actively try to seek people to convert. They proselytize, so actively try to spread the message, and they are evangelical in their approach. The opposite of this would be ethnic religions. Ethnic religions try to appeal primarily to one group of people or culture living in one place who are homogeneous. They typically do not actively try to seek people to convert, and they do not proselytize. They don't go out and try to spread their message and appeal to other groups of people. So let's talk about these main universalizing religions and the main ethnic religions. So our main universalizing religions are Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. And the main ethnic religions we will be discussing are Hinduism and Judaism, and then some other ethnic religions today. If you look over here on the side, you will see this is just a breakdown of the religions and followers that you see between Israel and Lebanon, and you can see how diverse this particular area is. In many countries, you will find that there are a diversity of people and religious faiths living side by side. It's only when there is discrimination or there is a dispute over holy lands that you tend to see that these religions cannot coexist. So let's start here with where we see the distribution of these religions. And as we will talk about throughout this class, one of the most significant events in history was colonization. As colonization really determined when countries went through the Industrial Revolution, they determined when they were independent, therefore when they would have progressed through the demographic transition model, and therefore where they are in the corporate free model today. So you know that the countries who were involved in colonization, or who were the colonizers, were mainly the European countries. And the main colonizing countries, you had Great Britain here, you had England here, Spain, Portugal, France, Belgium, Germany, and Italy. And you can see even today that those countries in Europe who are predominantly Roman Catholic are France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Belgium, and then you see it through Eastern Europe here as well. So the areas where these particular countries where they colonized, that is where you still today see a vast majority of people who are Roman Catholics. Ireland is also predominantly made up of adherents of Roman Catholicism. So as we look at the rest of the world, Latin America is mostly Roman Catholic. That's because most of Latin America was colonized by either the Spanish or the Portuguese. Then as we look at Anglo-America, so the United States and Canada, it is predominantly Protestant because the majority of people who settled here were English, and then after that many Germans came. You see a lot of Roman Catholics living in this area, mainly because here is Quebec, which is of heavy French influence, and then there were many Irish people and French people who settled, Italians as well, Italians, Irish, and French, who settled here in the northeastern part of the United States. We see Roman Catholic influence here in the southwestern part of the United States and part of the western United States because of the heavy Spanish influence in both of these areas. Then you can see that throughout the Central Asia, Eastern European bloc, and Russia, we have Eastern Orthodox down to Greece as well. Then we have Islam Islam is primarily throughout northern Africa, which we call the Maghrib, and Southwest Asia. You also see Islam predominantly here in the stands. Then Islam is also here through Iran as well. But this is, I see this is divided here. This is mainly Sunni Islam, and this is Shia or Shiite. Then we have Judaism. Judaism we have here, you see this tiny strip here on the coast of Israel. A third of all Jews live in Israel. Another third live in the United States. And another third are scattered throughout mainly Europe and Russia. Then you see that throughout East and Southeast Asia, you see predominantly Buddhism. India, we have here predominantly the ethnic religion of Hinduism. And then down through Africa, because of the heavy influence of the European countries, you will see Roman Catholicism, Protestantism, and then you'll see some of Sunni Islam as well. You notice that Indonesia is also heavily influenced by Islam. Please take a moment and just identify, locate where we see the predominant religions. So the branches of Christianity, where we see Islam, where we see Hinduism, where we see Judaism, where we see Buddhism. This will bring us to whenever we get to 6.4 and we really talk about the conflicts. It's important that you can identify where these are located. Here we have our world population by religion. Over the 2/3 of the world's population belongs to Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, or Buddhism. Christianity is the single largest world religion, and you can see this breakdown is here. So, universalizing, how is this categorized? What is the sequence of the following? The sect, the branch, the religion, the denomination. So, it is, first we have religion. And religions are divided into branches, just like Christianity. We have the religion. The 3 branches would be Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodox, and Protestantism. And then those branches are further subdivided into denominations. A denomination is divided then into a sect. So let's say the branch is Protestantism. The largest denomination in all of Christianity is Baptist. A sect of Baptists would be Southern Baptists. So that would be the full division. Christianity has the most followers. Most think it is 2 billion. Not think, but think it's 2 billion. It's the most widespread. It's most distributed. Excuse that typo there. 3 branches of Christianity. Again, we have Roman Catholicism with 51%, Protestantism with 24%, and Orthodox with 11%. Here again, we have the Christian branches in Europe. And these are our predominant Roman Catholic countries. Here we have our Protestant countries, and then these would be Eastern Orthodox. All right, in the Eastern Orthodox Church, there are 14 separate churches, and the largest one is Russian Orthodox. 90% of the people in the Western Hemisphere are Christians. In Latin America, 93% of the population are Roman Catholics. The 5 largest denominations of Protestant in North America make up 40% of the population in United States and Canada. When we look at these 5 largest, and as we look at this map of where we see the denominations in the United States and therefore the branches, we see here are mainly Roman Catholic, and then Roman Catholic, so in the Northeast where we had much settlement of Italians, French, and Irish. Then you will see many Roman Catholics in the southwestern part of the United States and down in the southern part of Texas. This is heavy influence, Spanish influence, and then now today Latin American influence. You can see that the largest denomination of Christianity is Baptist, and the largest sect of that would be Southern Baptist. Here we have Methodist throughout the sort of Midwestern. In the upper Midwest we have Lutheran, and then you can see that Presbyterian is also scattered here. We have some out here in Idaho. You'll see some here in, this is Colorado. And then you will see it scattered throughout some of these areas as well. This is the Church of Latter-day Saints. So Islam, it's the second most common religion. It is, though, the fastest growing religion in the world. We see this mainly in the Middle East, Northern Africa, and then outside of that, main countries would be Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. In Islam, we have two branches, Sunni, which make up 83% of all Muslims, and then Shia, Shiite make up 16%. Main beliefs of Islam, we have the 5 pillars, which here are 5 pillars, that there's one God, and that God is Allah. Muhammad is the last and final messenger of God. That people should pray 5 times per day facing Mecca, which gives them a direct link to God. That they should give alms, charity to the poor. That they should fast during the month of Ramadan from sunup to sundown. And then if they are physically and financially able, they should make the pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in their lifetime. Buddhism, the 3 main branches of Buddhism, we have Mahayana, which is 56%. We see this mainly in China, Japan, and Korea. Theravada at 38%, with mainly Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. Tantrayana, which is 6%, mainly in Tibet and Mongolia. It is difficult to count the number of Buddhists because only a few participate in Buddhist institutions. The functions are performed mainly by monks, not the general public. And a Buddhist can be a believer of multiple faiths, and it tends to be more individual, so it takes place mainly in the home. In Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths are the major beliefs. These Four Noble Truths are that all life has suffering and sorrow, that suffering is caused by the desire to live and for material lifestyle, which leads to this cycle of reincarnation, which is the reincarnation of the soul into different life forms. The only way to overcome the suffering is to overcome desire, which would end reincarnation and allow the soul to achieve nirvana. Nirvana is reached through following an 8-fold path. Next is Hinduism, which is a main ethnic religion. It is the largest ethnic religion. It's located mainly in India. 97% of Hindus do live in India. They also are a large population in Nepal. 80% of the population in both countries are Hindus. Major beliefs include that they are polytheistic, so believe in more than one god or goddess. They believe in reincarnation, so the rebirth of the soul into multiple life forms. Karma, moksha, and the idea of the caste system, which is the strict social class system. Other ethnic religions would be Confucianism, which is mainly in China, and they stress the ethical principles for the orderly conduct of life and the importance of public service. Taoism is mainly in China and Taiwan, and it emphasized the mystical and magical aspects of life rather than the importance of public service. We have Shintoism, which is mainly in Japan, and they believe the forces of nature to be divine, like the sun and the moon and the rivers, trees, rocks, mountains, and certain animals. They also revere their ancestors, and they encourage pilgrimages to shrines. Next is Judaism. A third of all Jews live in the United States. A third of all Jews live in Israel, and a third live in the rest of the world. The Bible recounts the ancient history of the Jews. It was the first monotheistic faith. Jews live according to God's ethical and moral principles, for example, the 10 Commandments. And Judaism did influence Christianity and Islam. Finally is animism. In Africa, 12% of the population, they do believe in animism, which is considered a traditional ethnic religion. In animism, they believe inanimate objects such as plants, stones, natural events like thunderstorms, earthquakes are animated, and they have discrete spirits and conscious life. Excuse me, that should be spirits. I should have proofread this here a bit more closely. So, they believe they have discrete spirits and conscious life. There are very few holy books, so there's very little documentation of animism. It's mainly passed down by word of mouth. That concludes our review of Chapter 1, Where Are Religions Distributed?